Have you ever wondered how SaaS animations become the most watched style video on the internet? They are pulling in millions of views, but 99% of editors completely miss why they actually work. They think it's all about visual effects, but the real secret to keeping people hooked is how the motion and the sound design work together. Without good audio, even the best animation feels completely dead. So in this video, I'm gonna cover everything. In the first part, we'll start by creating a high quality SaaS animations from scratch, and we will learn some insane effects. And in the second part, we will turn it into a real premium looking ads using professional SaaS sound design. Make sure you watch until the end because I have a big surprise waiting for you there. This tutorial is made for everyone, even if you are a total beginner. All the assets and the project files are linked in the video description. Alright, so let's break it down. In the first step, we're going to create 3 small but really impressive SaaS animations. But before we start, we need to understand the foundation behind those SaaS animations. And those are 2 important things you need to know about them. The first one is the flow of the movement. You are gonna learn the techniques of connecting 2 graphs into one. Because in SaaS animations, when we have cut between a movement, and we want everything to feel smooth, connected and seamless. That's why we connect both graphs into one smooth curve. It gives the movement much lighter and smooth feel. And the second things you need to understand is the text. In SaaS animations, text is often the main focus of the design, and what makes the text feel premium isn't just how it looks, it's how it's presented. The timing, spacing, hierarchy, and motion all work together to guide the viewer's attention and make the animation feel polished and professional. When those elements are done right, even simple text can look incredibly engaging. So now that you understand the basics, let's start creating. Start by creating a new composition with a width of 1920 and a height of 1080. Right-click and add a white solid. Then add a text layer and type subscribe using the irregular font. I will add a link to the font in the video description. Center the anchor point and place the text in the middle of the screen. Open the scale property and make the text really big, something like 420. Move it slightly to the right and position the start of the word like this. At the beginning of the layer, create a position keyframe. Move 1 second forward and move the text to the left until the end of the word is visible. Select the keyframes, go into the graph editor and create a sharp ease out. We will want to connect this animation to the next one, so we'll create a sharp exit here and a sharp entrance in the next animation. Using the ellipse tool, create a light blue circle that covers half of the screen and place it at the end of the composition like this. Add a turbulent displace effect to it, and in the settings, increase the size to 270. To add an expression to evolution, hold Alt and click on the stopwatch. Then type time multiplied by 320. This creates a nice wave-like motion effect. Now add a face box blur, set the blur radius to 150. Right-click and add an adjustment layer. Add the facebox blur to it as well and set the radius to 30. Then add the chromatic aberration effect. I've added a link to the effect in the video description. Create an ellipse mask on the adjustment layer from edge to edge. In the settings, enable inverted so the effect only affects on the side of the screen. Increase the mask further to 500. And just like that, we've finished the first animation. Pretty simple, right? Then just wait a second, I'm about to show you some absolutely insane effects. Move to second one, trim the text layer and the adjustment layer, and then delete everything after that point. Move 2 frames forward, trim the shape layer as well, and delete the remaining part after that frame. Set the shape layer opacity to 0% and create an opacity keyframe. Move slightly backward and set the opacity back to 100%. Add a tint effect to the background. Move 3 frames before the 1 second mark and create a map by 2 keyframe. Then move 3 frames after the 1 second mark and change the color to black. This creates a smooth color transition between the backgrounds. And if you want to master the style faster, make sure to like the video and stay till the end, because the best part is coming up next. Now add another text layer. On the black background, type subscribe again. This time in blue and with a semi-bold font. Move the text to the center of the screen and center the anchor point. Now I'm going to show you an amazing effect you can use to style text, and we will do it using CC Light Sweep. Duplicate the layer and add a CC Light Sweep effect to the duplicated layer. Move the center point around here, change the light repetition to cutout. This makes the layer disappear while the light is projected directly onto the base layer. Increase the width to 120 and the sweep intensity to 140. Finally, lower the thickness to 0. Also make sure to change the light color to a light blue color. Duplicate the layer again. In the settings, place the center point at the beginning of the word. Make sure to change the blue color to slightly lighter shade. Duplicate it one more time and place it at the center of the word. This time change the color to a very bright shade, almost white. Also make sure to increase the white to 200. Look how nice the text looks. And if you want more inspiration and extra content, follow us on Instagram. Select all the text layers and move them so they start at 1 second mark. Move forward 1.5 seconds and create position keyframes. Go back to the start of the layers and move the text slightly to the right. Select the keyframes, go into the graph editor and create a sharp ease in. This creates a clean connection between the first exit of the previous text and the first entrance of this one. Go back to the beginning of the layers, select all the text layers, and add the blinking typewriting preset to all of them. This creates a typewriting text effect. Open the preset settings and select the middle slider keyframes. Move them slightly backward. Then select all the start slider keyframes, go into the graph editor and create an easy ease. It should look like this. Using the ellipse tool, create a circle around this size and move it to the center of the screen. Add a turbulent displace effect to it, and in the settings, increase the size to 150. Move the layer so it starts together with the text layers. At the beginning of the layer, create a scale keyframe and set it to 0%. Move forward around 2 seconds and set the scale back to 100%. Select the keyframes, go into the graph editor and create a sharp ease in. Take a look bro, it's insane. Move slightly forward and create an evolution keyframe and set it to -90. Move 2 seconds after the last keyframe and increase the evolution to 90. Select the keyframes, go into the graph editor and create an easy ease for them. Finally, add a gradient ramp effect. Since we are going to add colorama effect, and for it to work perfectly, the layer needs to have a gradient. Search for the colorama effect and add it as well. In the output cycle, delete 2 of the colors, leave 4 colors and space them evenly. Change the first color to grayish turquoise, the second to grayish blue, the third to the same grayish turquoise, and the last one to light reddish blue. Increase the cycle repeats to 1.3. Now add the first box blur effect and increase the radius to 40. Duplicate the layer, right click on it, go to layer styles and choose bevel and emboss. Open the settings and under blend options lower the fill opacity to 0%. Inside the bevel and emboss, increase the highlight opacity to 100%, increase the shadow opacity to 100% as well, and the size change to 40. This creates a really nice depth effect. Now create a new null object, move the layer so it starts together with the text and the shape, parent both shape layers to the null using the parent and link, move 5 frames after the start of the layer and create rotation keyframe. Move 2 seconds forward and rotate it 1 full rotation. Select the keyframes, go into the graph editor and create an easy ease. Now we will create the effect where the circle empties out from the center. Create another circle at the center of the screen and move the layer so it starts at 1 second mark like the other layers. Create a small circle mask in the center of it, open the mask settings and increase the mask feather to 350 so the small circle in the middle disappears. Add the face box blur effect and increase the radius to 35. At second one in 19 frames, create a mask expansion keyframe. Move forward 1.5 seconds and increase the pixel value to 500 so the entire circle fills with color and completely cover the circle underneath it. Select the keyframes, go into the graph editor and create an easy ease here as well. Now take the 2 previous circles layers and connect them to the new shape layer using the trackmate. In the mask settings, enable the inverted. And look how clean this looks bro. Select all the layers that make up the shape and move them below the text layers. Also connect all the text layer to the first shape using the trackmate. And turn the visibility back on. This way the text only appears inside the shape. Now select all the layers that make up this animation. Slightly before the 3-second mark, create an opacity keyframe. Move forward to exactly 3 seconds and lower the opacity to 0%. At that same point, you can trim and delete the remaining parts of the layers after it. And that's it, we are done with the second animation. Now let's move on to the third, final and the best animation. For the next part, create a text layer and type SM, short for sharp motion. Change the font weight to bold and center the anchor point. Scale the text up to 300% and move it to the center of the screen. And of course, it's not required, it's just an extra touch that takes the animation to the next level. Add another text layer and type the letter C. Center the anchor point and place it above the corner of the M. Since it looked too thick, change the font weight to light. Scale it down to 25%. Using the ellipse tool, create a circle outline around it with a white color and 2 pixel stroke. Select all the C layers and pre-compose them. Double click the rectangle tool and make sure the fill is set to white, so it fills the entire screen. Select the rectangle layer and the previous pre-comp and pre-compose them together. Go inside the new pre-comp. In second 2, move the shape to the left until it reaches the edge of the text and create a position keyframe. Move back to the start of the layer and move the shape further left until the text becomes visible. Add a turbulent displace effect. In the settings, increase the amount to 200, lower the size to 20, and increase the complexity to 10. Now add the mosaic effect. Set the horizontal blocks to 100 and the vertical blocks to 50. Use the trackmate to connect the pre-comp to the shape. This gives it a really nice text fill effect. Now go to the main comp and move the pre-comp we just created so it starts after the previous text. At 3-second mark, duplicate the layer twice. Pre-compose both duplicated layers. At that same point, trim and delete the part of the layer before it. Inside the pre-compose of the duplicated layers, move the top layer 6 frames forward. Add the fill effect to it. In the settings, change the color to white and enable the invert. For the bottom layer, add the minimax effect and increase the radius to 2. Use the TalkMate to connect the bottom layer to the top one. This gives us something like this. Now go back to the main comp and add CC glass to the top pre-comp. In the settings, under surface, change the property to alpha. Lower the softness to 1 and set the height to -50. Increase the displacement to 200. Also add the displacement map effect. Increase the mask's horizontal displace to 100 and lower the max vertical displace to 0. Duplicate the effect. On the duplicated effect, lower the horizontal value to -200. Now add the colorama effect. In the settings, you can play with the colors using the cycle repetition. I am leaving it on 1 to get this pink magenta color. Lower the modify alpha value, add the glow effect. Increase the radius to 50, set the intensity to 2, duplicate the glow and lower the radius to 20. Duplicate it again and increase the radius to 500. Duplicate it one more time and change it to 400. You can choose whatever glow intensity fits your style. I am using a stock glow because later I'm also gonna mask it inside the text boundaries, but if you want, you can simply remove one of the glow effect to make it less intense. Change the layer mode to screen, go inside the SM comp, copy the text, and paste it inside the main comp. Move the layer below the pre-compose and align them so they start at the same point. Use the TalkMate to connect the top comp layer to the text, so the glow stays inside the text boundaries. Look how good it looks. Now move the pre-compose 6 frames forward, select all 3 layers and pre-compose them. Move to the end of the previous layers, then trim and delete the part before this point. Go inside the comp, duplicate the text and turn the visibility back on for the duplicate. Add the CC light sweep effect to it. Place the center point at the middle of the text, change the light repetition to cutout. At the beginning of the layer, create a direction keyframe, move forward 2 seconds and rotate the direction by 2 full rotations. Select the keyframes, go into the graph editor and create an easy ease. Now go back into the settings, lower the sweep intensity to 0 and increase the edge intensity to 100. Change the light color to purple, duplicate the layer and change the light color to red. Duplicate it one last time and change the color to orange. The movement looks a bit too fast, so open the direction property on all 3 layers, select the last keyframes and rotate them 1 turn backward. Make sure they complete 1 full rotation. Create a gap of 3 frames between the layers. Let's take a look at the final result. See how nice it looks. Now go back to the main comp and add the one node camera. Move it so it starts together with the pre-comp. Turn the pre-comp into 3D layer. Move forward to the moment right before the fill effects start appearing. Cut the camera layer at that point. For the first camera layer, open the camera position and move the camera forward and to the right side of the text. Create a keyframe at the beginning of the layer, move to the end of the layer, and move the camera to the left until the right side of the text is visible. Select the keyframes, go into the graph editor and create a sharp ease out. For the second camera layer, move 1 second forward from where it starts and create a position keyframe. Go back to the beginning and position the camera on the left side like before. Go to the beginning, move that keyframe to the start of the layer, select the keyframes, go into the graph editor and create a sharp ease in. Move the last keyframe slightly forward. This way we connected one movement with a sharp exit while creating a new movement with a sharp entrance at the same time. Now we are going to use something I already created. Inside this layer, there are multiple rows made from the page sharp motion. Each moves in the opposite direction of the one next to it. There's nothing complicated about it, it's just a bit long to build, so I didn't want to make the tutorial unnecessarily complicated. I want to add one more small detail to make it look a bit nicer, so I'm going to add the checkmark. Move the layer below the layers of the last 2 animations, go inside the comp. As you can see, it's only start from this point. So place the playhead here, and in the main comp delete the part of the layer before it. Move the comp so it starts together with the second animation. At the end of the second animation, when the final animation begins, cut the layer and move the cut section above so it sits with the layers of the third animation. At the beginning of the comp layer during the second animation, set the opacity to 0% and create a keyframe. Move forward a little and increase it to 50%. Shortly before the end of the layer, create another opacity keyframe. Move to the end of the layer and lower the opacity back to 0%. This sets a really nice touch to the second animation. Now go to the comp layer used in the third animation. At the beginning of the layer, set the opacity to 0% and create a keyframe. Move slightly forward and increase the opacity back to 100%. And that's it, we are done. This is the final result. For the sound design, I will be using Botanica pack by Murad Guliev. This isn't a sponsorship. I just gently think this is one of the highest quality sound pack out there, and I honestly recommend it. Now remember the surprise I promised you? I reached out to Murad to see if he will be willing to give you guys a few free packs, but he never replied. Not the nicest move, especially considering I am promoting the product for free. Anyway, I decided that since it's important to me to bring you the highest quality content possible, I'm going to give away 3 packs for 3 random people. To enter, leave a comment on the video, follow me on Instagram, and finally write me why you think you deserve it. Do that and you might be one of the winners. There are basically 3-step workflow for SaaS sound design, and every great looking animation starts with step 1. Bringing the movement to life, because movement without sound feels empty. It looks smooth visual, but it doesn't feel real. So the first thing we do is add whooshes. Those are the sounds that follow the movement and give energy to the animation. And movement can be anything. Sliders, zooms, transition, pop-ups, basically anything moving on or off the screen. Alright, so let's start with step 1, adding whooshes. Open Premiere Pro and import the animation video. Now open the Botanica pack inside Premiere Composer. When you purchase the pack, you will find detailed instruction on how to install everything inside Premiere. The first thing we need to do is figure out which part need whooshes. I think a good place to start is in the text movement in the first animation. Inside the transition folder, search for whoosh. There are a lot of options here, so let's go through them and find the one that fits best. I really like this one, but let's try reversing it. That works much better for the direction of the animation. Click Add and position the sound so the peak lands right when the first animation ends and the text disappears. Let's hear it. Another thing that comes with this pack, and one of the reasons I like it so much, is the presets. Those let you add extra processing to your sound effect and make them feel much more polished and fitting. Go to Effects, then Presets, and open the Botanica folder. Let's try Effect 10 first. It uses a flanger style modulation effect with a jet-like sound. I think we can find something better, so press Ctrl Z and try Effect 12. This one is also a flanger effect. It's nice, but I don't think it's the best choice. Honestly, the process is just testing different options until you find the one that fits the best. Let's remove it and try Effect 15. That's already much better. Now let's try SFX 8. This one uses a pager style moderation effect with a smoother rotating movement. Perfect, let's keep it. Now let's move on to the next whoosh. This one needs to work as a transition between the first and the second animation, so we want something shorter. This sounds nice. Yep, that is the one. It fits the best. Place the peak of the whoosh right between the first and the second animation. This is how it sounds without any effects. Let's see if we can improve it with some processing. Try adding the same SFX 8 effect we used before. Wow, that works really well here too. Let's keep it on this one as well. Now we want a whoosh for the circle that expand around the text. For this, let's look for some heavier whooshes. There are so many options here, it's crazy. Alright, this one sounds really nice. Add it and place the peak of the sound right at the moment where the circle reaches the maximum expansion. Right here. Also, since the animation is a bit longer, the sound should be longer as well. Let's try SFX 8 on me too. Okay, that doesn't really work here. Press Ctrl Z and remove it. Let's try Effect 15. That sounds disgusting. Maybe Effect 4? Interesting. Yep, let's use that one. Now select all 3 sound layers, open Essential Sound and lower all of them to -10 because they're a bit too loud. And now it sounds great. Once the movement feels alive, we can move to step 2. This is where the animation starts feeling details and premium. We add things like UI clicks, digit sounds, electric textures, impacts, and small interface sounds. Those sounds are what give the animation personality. Without them, everything feels flat. Usually we add those sounds to the text animations, icons, lines, buttons, all the small details happening on the screen. Now we want to find all the special sound effects. I think we should start adding some ticking sound to the first animation. Inside the countdown folder, you will find a few sounds that could work well for it. Let's hear them. Not bad. Nice. This sounds nice. Add the sound right at the beginning. It's a bit too long, so you can delete the end part after the text disappears. You can also drag the edges to create a fade in and fade out. Now let's add some effects. We will start with effect 4. Yeah, that doesn't sound very good. Let's try effect 7. Okay, that one is great. Leave it on. It's a bit too loud, so go to Essential Sound and set the clip volume to -10. Listen to this, bro. It sounds so good. Now let's add sound effects for the second text animation. We want some kind of typing sound. Go inside the glitch and flicking folder. What about this one? It's a bit too sharp. Maybe this. Interesting. Okay, this one is perfect. Add it. Bring it down and place it where the text starts appearing. Just like before, let's try adding SFX 7. That doesn't fit very well. Maybe SFX 5. Still not great. Okay, that was exactly what I was looking for. Once again, go to Essential Sound and set the clip volume to -10. Now let's move to the third part of the animation. This is where things get really interesting. We want to add sound for the rotation around the text. Let's start with the rotation sound, and then a sound for the text fill effect. Go inside the granular folder and look for something that fits. Let's listen to some of the options. Not bad. Yeah, I think this could work. Move the sound layer down and place it at the beginning of the final animation. Now let's test some effects until we find the right one. Ew, what is this? Try SFX 15. It doesn't match the movement. Try SFX 10. Listen to this for a second. This is what art sounds like. Once again, lower the clip volume to -10. Sounds great. You see where the pixels start appearing at this section? That's where I want to add the fill effect sound. For this one, I already know that's the only one sound that fits perfectly, and it's this one. My favorite sound in the whole pack. Move to the frame where the effect starts, and place the sounds below all the others. Now let's go into the effects, add SFX 10. Bro, that sounds awful. It doesn't match at all. Honestly, SFX 13 sounds the best here. And once again, don't forget to lower the clip volume. This time, let's set it to -15, because the sound is much louder. And just like that, we finished the second part. And finally, step 3 is emotion. This is where we use sound to control how the viewer feels. Sometimes we want to create tension, sometimes we want a reveal to feel powerful, and sometimes we just want the movement to feel bigger. That's where risers, hits, and cinematic sounds come in. Risers build anticipation, hits make movement feel impactful, and once all those steps work together, the animation doesn't just look good anymore, it feels cinematic, alive, and actually professional. In this section, I can only demonstrate risers in a specific way, but it's the best example I can give. Basically, there are two parts here that are perfect for risers. The first one is the transition between the first and the second animation. Go into the risers folder and look for something that fits. What about this one? Not bad. This one is too long. We need something shorter to that point. Yep, this is the one. Now pay attention. The peak of the riser needs to land exactly in the movement between the two animations, when neither of them is visible. Just like this. Now let's go back to the effects. I think SFX 9 brings out the best sound here. Once again, lower the clip volume to -10. And there we go. This specific sound will also work perfectly for the next section. So let's duplicate it and place it peak in the final animation. Right at the sharp transition between the close-up text and the distance text. Don't tell me this isn't amazing. This pack also comes with some really nice short breakdown sounds, and I want to add them to make the animation feel even more professional. Inside the BG folder, you will find a bunch of interesting ambient sounds. I think we should pick something a bit more rhythmic, and maybe another one to create a softer atmosphere in the background. Okay, this one is perfect. Now listen to everything together. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed and learned something new. See you in the next one.